Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. And as always, we'd like to extend an invitation to any business owners or those looking to sponsor a show. You can go ahead and check out Florida National News. We've got 5 different shows to choose from. And if it's something you're curious or interested in, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to learn more. In the meantime, as always, we'd like to get you guys started with the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization is reporting over 23.5 million confirmed cases and over 810,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, according to Johns Hopkins University, we are seeing over 5.75 million confirmed cases and over 177,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting over 605,000 confirmed cases and over 10,600 confirmed deaths. The numbers continue to rise, and we're starting to see things tamp down just a little bit. We'll get into a little bit more detail as we continue with our segment today. But jumping into our world story, there is now a documented case officially of someone contracting COVID-19 twice. And this is in Hong Kong. They had their first official report of someone contracted COVID-19 for a second time. A 33-year-old man living in Hong Kong, he had it twice this year, according to preliminary research. He had symptoms the first time around, but no obvious symptoms the second time, according to the team at the University of Hong Kong, who made their report on Monday. The preprint study, which the university said has been accepted for publication in the Journal of Clinical Infectious Diseases, found that the man's second case occurred 142 days after the first case. Now, during his first episode, he had a cough, a sore throat, fever, and headache for 3 days. He tested positive on March 26th, that first time. During his second episode, he was returning to Hong Kong from traveling in Spain through the UK, and he tested positive during his entry screening at the Hong Kong airport on August 15th. And the second time, he was hospitalized again, but remained asymptomatic even while in the hospital. According to the report, it says, quote, the patient got reinfected 4.5 months after the first infection. Therefore, it shows that for this patient, the immunity induced by the first infection is short lasting. And this is according to Dr. Kelvin Kai Wang To, of the University of Hong Kong, who worked on the study. So very interesting to hear about a case of someone contracting it twice and possibly due to exposure in one of the other countries, because he did go to Spain. And we know Spain was one of the several European nations that was hard hit during the COVID-19 pandemic there, as well as the UK. He was traveling through the UK on his way back to Hong Kong. So definitely stay tuned. We will continue to keep you posted on such cases, especially now that we know that it is something that you can contract more than once. Now, jumping here to the United States, a bit of good news. The national daily death tolls is below 1,000 for the first time since July. So things are starting to slow down just a little bit here in the United States. Now, here's a little bit more detail on that. Declines in the average number of daily COVID-19 deaths and in new cases indicate that the virus summer surge through the US is starting to slow down. The 7-day average of COVID-19 dropped below 1,000 over the weekend for the first time since late July. Also, the average number of new cases have dropped to about 42,600 as of Sunday, which is well below its peak in mid-July of around 67,000 daily cases, according to Johns Hopkins University. Now, although those trends are in the right direction, the US still remains number 1 in total cases and deaths. So we continue here at Florida National News to urge you guys to be careful. By comparison, the European Union is experiencing a worrisome surge over there as well. On Sunday, all 27 countries in the Union reported a total 7-day average of 17,000 new cases per day. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is, of course, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said earlier this month that he wanted to see cases drop below where they were in the spring. So clearly, we still have a lot of work to do here in the United States to get below that. He said, quote, when you look at our curve, it's telling. And that's the thing that bothers me. We went way up and we came down. We came down to a plateau of 20,000 cases per day. That is not a good baseline. We needed to get further down. Now, he mentioned this all the way back on August 5th. So as I mentioned, we still have a little bit more work to do where that's concerned. Now, jumping here to the state of Florida, a bit of disturbing news in light of recent schools reopening, and something that was a bit inevitable given folks being asymptomatic. There are now hundreds of cases of COVID-19 appearing on school campuses across the state of Florida. So, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be careful, wear your mask, practice social distancing, wash your hands, guard yourself, do everything that is necessary. Here in the state of Florida, a little more detail, the specific number is 714 people, including students and employees that have tested positive since August 10th for COVID-19, according to a report that was released by the Department of Health on Monday. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis and Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran, obviously they were very resolute in their weeks-long push to reopen K-12 schools and higher education institutions in Florida, which had been one of the hardest hit states by the COVID-19 pandemic, as you guys have seen from our numbers. Over the last 2 weeks, 25 school districts reopened in accordance with that July 6th executive order issued by Corcoran, and of course, that required schools to offer in-person education by the end of the month. Within that time frame, 205 students and 342 employees at elementary, middle, and high schools have tested positive for the virus, according to the report. Health officials also reported a dozen, quote, unknown cases of COVID-19. Now, 14 of the cases have led to hospitalizations, with 85% of those hospitalizations tied to people who are 35 years old or older. Thankfully, no children have been hospitalized yet after testing positive for the virus. We'll continue to keep you updated. Now, colleges and trade schools, they have reported fewer cases, but that's primarily because many of the universities and colleges have chosen to not resume in-person classes over these last 2 weeks. Most universities and colleges began in-person courses as of yesterday, and the move-in process for students began earlier in the month. Now, the state report appears to be inconsistent, though, with the number of infections that universities have reported in the last 2 weeks. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted. The state report says 90 students and 61 employees at universities, colleges, and trade schools have tested positive, along with 4 unknown cases. So in the meantime, though, we are going to take a quick commercial break, guys, and come back with some more stories for you. So stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. And in your next U.S. story, you likely have heard about this that's been going on, but the Wisconsin has officially called in the National Guard after lots of unrest recently due to the death of another African-American gentleman who was shot by a police officer. You guys have likely heard about the case, but the governor there did call in the National Guard after the unrest. The city of Kenosha skirmished with protesters during a second night of unrest over the wounding of a Black man that was shot in the back by the police as his 3 children looked on. This is another case that has sparked a lot of outrage. Now, Kenosha is located on the shore of Lake Michigan, about 40 miles south of Milwaukee. The governor made sure to order in the National Guard. He also decried the fact that he decried what he called excessive force in the shooting of Jacob Blake. That is the name of the African-American gentleman who was shot. And he called for a special legislative session to consider police reforms. About an hour later, Monday afternoon, Kenosha's mayor faced dozens of angry, jeering protesters demanding the arrest of officers involved in Sunday's shooting. Some in the group tried to force their way into the municipal public safety building adjacent to the courthouse when the mayor, John Antaramian, retreated from the heckling crowd. Obviously, lots of unrest. The door was broken off of its hinges, but police in riot gear drove the demonstrators back by dousing some with pepper spray, which we have seen very commonly across the country during protests. Now, shortly after nightfall, scores of protesters defying a dusk to dawn curfew massed outside the courthouse, shouting and tossing water bottles at a line of sheriff's deputies who responded with volleys of tear gas and pepper balls. A short time later, several truckloads of National Guard troops were seen rolling into the center of town about a block away. Local media reported that exit ramps leading into the city from Interstate 94 had been closed to traffic. A lot of pandemonium there, but as you guys can see, the protests continue. And unfortunately, in the United States, some of these shootings also continue. Now, crowds soon gathered at the scene, and some demonstrators had set fires and threw bricks and Molotov cocktails at the police, leading authorities to close public buildings in the area. Now, Evers ordered the Guard troops to Kenosha at the request of local officials to help maintain the order after activists said they were organizing further demonstrations for Monday night. So things obviously were continuing into today. Very dangerous situation. If you're in that area, please be careful. Now, jumping over here to the state of Florida, you guys heard us talk yesterday about a ruling that would be coming next week in the case between the Florida Education Association and the state of Florida in terms of schools being forced to reopen in person 5 days out of every week. But that ruling actually came yesterday, even after we finished our newscast. And the judge in the case actually ruled portions of the executive order unconstitutional. So the governor, Ron DeSantis, has actually, his office stated that he will actually appeal the judge's ruling. But a little bit more detail for you guys as to how the ruling went. Leon County Circuit Judge Charles Dodson issued the ruling after hearing those closing arguments in the lawsuits filed by the Florida Education Association and the union that represents 2 Orange County teachers. The lawsuits were, of course, challenging the reopening order earlier this summer to require in-person learning. Now, the lawyers representing Governor DeSantis and Corcoran and the state education officials, who are the defendants in the case, of course, maintain that the Constitution also requires the state to provide high-quality education to Florida school children. They're saying, quote, the ruling was the order is unconstitutional to the extent that it arbitrarily disregards safety, denies local school boards decision-making with respect to opening brick and mortar schools, and conditions funding on an approved reopening plan with a start date in August. That was the ruling that Judge Dodson signed on Monday. Now, the decision had followed 3 days of hearings this past week, and it remained unclear how the ruling would impact school districts across the state, many of which have already resumed in-person learning. So this was going to be an interesting transition point. The Florida Education Association did express their gratitude that the motion for the temporary injunction against Commissioner Corcoran's executive order was granted, and said it will take some time to consider details of Judge Dodson's ruling. As I mentioned, Governor DeSantis' office said it would appeal, which would put the ruling on hold. So this is an interesting back and forth that we will see. The Governor DeSantis spokesperson, Fred Piccolo, said in an email, quote, we intend to appeal this ruling and are confident in our position and in the authority of the commissioner and the governor to do what is best for our students. The judge said the policy runs afoul of the Supreme Court's longstanding admonition that the government may not deny a benefit to a person on a basis that infringes his constitutionally protected interests. Essentially, one of the big nitpicks for the judge, if you will, he believes that, or I should say the attorneys, not the judge, excuse me, the teachers' attorneys call the ruling or the executive order financial bullying. You guys heard us talk yesterday about certain school districts that had they held off on doing in-person learning, they would have been hit with 200 plus, $1,000 fines or, very expensive fines. So their issue was that it was financial bullying for these various school districts. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated on this particular case. In the meantime, we're going to take another quick commercial break and come back with your business and sports story. So stay tuned.
You need time to stand still or get up and go. You need to unplug or to reconnect with those who matter most. You need to kick back, to dive in, to have your moment in the sun. You need a palace to lift your spirits, to taste the finer things. You need room to feed your soul, to remember why you travel. You need Lowe's. The legendary Lowe's Don Cesar Hotel, St. Pete Beach. The room you need.
All right, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. Thanks for sticking with us. In business news, the trademark slogan, "Finger Licking Good," is gone from KFC temporarily in certain countries, including the United States. The company made the announcement yesterday during an interview with Fox Business. They decided that they, for now, amid the pandemic, they're going to drop the "It's Finger Licking Good" slogan. And as you can see in this image, they've decided to blur it out in some of their marketing materials. Now, they decided to make that decision given the whole COVID-19, the importance of keeping your hands sanitary. Now, right now, the ads are still running, the normal ads are still running in the UK, Canada, the Netherlands, the Middle East, North Africa, South Africa, and parts of Asia. The campaign was not featured in the US market, though. So KFC in the UK and Ireland will reportedly be blurring out those words, as you see in the image, on some of the marketing materials, because, of course, the UK and the Ireland, like those are areas that are still very hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, along with us here in the United States. Now, Catherine Tan Gillespie, who is KFC's Global Chief Marketing Officer, said in a statement, quote, "We find ourselves in a unique situation, having an iconic slogan that doesn't quite fit in the current environment." And by the way, that slogan is roughly 64 years old. So very iconic, very long lasting, but doesn't quite fit right now. What she did say, though, is that while we are pausing the use of "It's Finger Licking Good," rest assured the food craved by so many people around the world isn't changing one bit. The news release from KFC further reassured fans that the slogan will return, quote, "when the time is right." So even with that, we'll continue to keep you guys posted as well. And hey, if you guys have any thoughts about it, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Very interesting update on that. Now, jumping into your sports news, the fastest man alive, the one and only Usain Bolt, has unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19. Now, if you haven't heard that news yet, here's a little bit more detail for you. Jamaica's health ministry confirmed late on Monday that Bolt, who holds world records in the 100-meter and 200-meter distance race, had tested positive after he posted a video on social media around midday saying he was waiting to hear back on his results. So he said, quote, "Just to be safe, I quarantine myself and just take it easy." He said that in a message that he taped by himself while he was lying in bed. It was posted with the caption, "Stay safe, my people." He said he took the test on Saturday, the day after he celebrated his birthday at a bash where partygoers danced to the hit "Lockdown" by Jamaican reggae singer Coffee. Fans wish Bolt a speedy recovery on social media, saying, quote, "Drink up your ginger tea." All of our island folks, we know how that goes. That is always a popular get well drink for those of us coming from there. One person, saluted him. Some did accuse him of carelessness, of course, because as we've heard in various locations, not only here in the United States, but around the world, parties are usually a hotbed for contracting COVID-19 because they're usually indoor in some cases, and folks can contract the virus that way. Now, daily confirmed cases in Jamaica have surged to more than 60 per day over the past 4 days, from less than 10 just a few weeks ago. Jamaica now has 1,612 confirmed cases, with 622 active cases and 16 deaths due to COVID-19. And while we're at it, we do wish Usain Bolt a happy 34th birthday, since that's the birthday he was celebrating when he unfortunately contracted the virus. Now, in the meantime, we're going to take one final commercial break, and it is Tuesday, so we will be back with the lovely Jamesia Stoudemire out of Los Angeles, guys. Stay tuned.
Mercury agents everywhere are saving people hundreds and are also there to help save the day.
That was fast. You covered.
Thanks, agents.
Watch out!
That's my car!
Don't worry, we're here to help.
For savings and service above the rest, you can count on Mercury. We're on a mission to save you money.
All right, guys, we are back and we are wrapping up with the Entertainment 4 for 4 brought to you by the lovely Jamesia Stoudemire out of Los Angeles. You guys always look forward to having her here. And as always, it is our pleasure to bring her on as well. Good afternoon, Jamesia.
Good afternoon, Melissa. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Always good to see you.
Always great to see you. I guess we'll go ahead and get it started for Tuesday, August 25th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, August 25th. That's correct. All right, guys, this is Jamesia Stoudemire, and I am all the way in sunny Los Angeles, California. And today, for our Entertainment 4 for 4, we're going to get it started off with Kurt Franklin makes a splash at the Stellar Gospel Music Awards. So this past Sunday, virtually on BET and BET Her, the 35th annual Stellar Gospel Awards took place, and Kurt Franklin took home 6 awards. Now, not 1, not 2, but 6. So he took home, and this is from his album Long Live Love, Male Vocalist, Album of the Year, Producer, Contemporary Male Vocalist, Contemporary Album of the Year, as well as Music Video of the Year for Love Theory. That is a lot. That is a lot of trophies, Kurt Franklin. But you have ceased to continue to amaze us through time. Definitely was a fan with Stomp growing up in my younger years and still love your music today. Some of the other performers that performed for the Stellar Gospel Music Awards was Tamala Mann, Marvin Sapp, and Ty Tribbett. They also did honored late civil rights icon and Georgia Congressman John Lewis with a tribute sung by CeCe Winans, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. So congratulations to all those winners, and congratulations to the Stellar Awards for another successful award ceremony. First time virtually, but it went pretty good. All right, let's go to number 2. Javicia Leslie is ready to be the first Black Batwoman. So amazingly, Javicia Leslie is known from being on her roles on BET The Family Business, as well as CBS God Friended Me. And she is actually this year going to be replacing Ruby Rose for the 2nd season of CW's Batwoman, which you see here. This is Ruby Rose from the 1st season, and Javicia to my left with the beautiful, beautiful hair that she has. So she was actually casted in July via a Zoom audition. So she's been a lifelong fan of Batman, and says she's perfect for the role. She knows Muay Thai. She does fitness training regular, and she just loves running. She had said this is going to be like playing on the playground every day. And also, I would like to quote that she said that this had nothing to do with me and everything to do with my people and with little Black girls. So she's definitely, and this comes in a time when diversity and inclusion, especially in the film world and just the world in general, is at its high. So this will be an amazing moment, especially for little Black girls, to see a Black woman superhero on the TV screen. So I'm definitely excited for her, and congratulations. They are getting ready to shoot, they are getting ready to start production and begin shooting, but she said she hadn't seen the suit yet. So it's still under wraps, but I am definitely interested to see what that outfit looked like, especially getting close to Halloween. All right, number 3. Demi Lovato celebrates her 28th birthday by launching a campaign to demand justice for Breonna Taylor. So this past Thursday, Demi Lovato launched a campaign via Propeller. So right here, you can see on the right is her Instagram, and it said, "Today is my 28th birthday, a birthday that Breonna Taylor will never have the opportunity to experience. I have launched a special Propeller campaign in Breonna's honor that includes pre-written letters to Louisville's mayor and chief of police, petition links, and donation links. No matter how big or small you think your impact may be, if we all stand together, we can help bring justice for Breonna Taylor. Start taking action now." So she's using her amazing day to celebrate this woman who was a 26-year-old EMT who was shot 6 times inside of her apartment while Louisville, Kentucky Metro Police were serving a no-knock seizure due to a drug ring or so forth. But this young lady, these police officers are still walking around, and no one has been put in jail, as well as the family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit, and that's still in a pending situation as well. But no action has been taken for this wrongful death. A couple other things I wanted to say. Oh, this also goes into, and this is like been going on for a while, guys. If you guys don't know who Breonna Taylor is, take 5 minutes to just Google the story. And definitely, if you don't have the money to contribute, post something, because this young woman definitely deserves her life for justice. She deserves justice. But this is also Oprah Winfrey did 26 billboards in Louisville, Kentucky, as well as last week the Lakers wore a red similar makeup to a MAGA hat, but it said "Make America Great Again. Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor." So definitely a lot of high people and celebrities are stepping behind this. So I hope that you guys do too, because justice does need to be served. Alrighty, guys, and number 4. Tony Awards returns digitally this fall. So as you go, I reported maybe back in March when the theaters originally closed down, because as you guys know, the theaters have been dark since March 12th. A very long time, the longest time ever. And of course, this is all due to the pandemic, of course. Right here, you see a beautiful picture that Florida National News actually was able to attend this year. But they moved it to the fall. It's going to be completely digital, and they finally have found a way to keep everyone safe and honor the arts and really the Tony Awards. They'll kind of be focusing on the season from 2019 again to 2020, well, March 2020, before the theater is shut down. So I'm definitely excited to see what awards are won. I wonder if Hamilton can win another one after going live streaming. But definitely, so that is all we have for today. Again, thank you for watching Entertainment 444 during the evening rundown on Florida National News. If you could, please follow me at THE_ENT_MOGUL. And that's it, guys. Back over to you, Melissa.
All right. Thank you so much, Jamesia. Always a pleasure to have you on. And thank you for sharing those 4 topics with us. Appreciate you.
No problem. See you guys next time.
Take care. All right, guys. That does it for us here at the Evening News Rundown as well. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can find us at Florida National News on all the major platforms. You'll find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And when you're on YouTube, be sure to click the bell icon so you get all the notifications for all of our shows. And again, to those who are interested in advertising, be sure to shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more. In the meantime, have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Take care.